run game. And if you look at the 7-game win streak as we enter this game, they've given up just 109 rush yards per game. That is 10th in the league. He said better in their run fits, better in their alignments. But do not forget this. Defensive coordinator Mike Pettin had the entire group watch the NFC Championship game against the Niners last season. They were trampled on the ground, 285 rush yards. They have to account for Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette today. Right now, we're going to go to my teammate, James Palmer, for more on the Bucs.
Well, thank you, Stacey. One of the biggest concerns the Saints had going against the Bucs in the divisional round was preparing for those explosive plays that Antonio Brown has brought over the last several weeks. The Packers don't need to worry about that with Antonio Brown out with a knee injury. But here's what I've gathered about why the Bucs aren't concerned. First, Mike Evans had battle injuries throughout the entire season. They believe right now he is the healthiest he has been. And then also, this is the second time in the playoffs now that the Bucs have prepared throughout the week to be without one of their top wide receivers. So other guys, I'm told, have cross-trained at different spots. Keep an eye on Scotty Miller, who had a big catch from Tom Brady on third down on a route that was designed for Antonio Brown last week. He was a big target down the field for Tom Brady throughout the season, Rich, before the arrival of Antonio Brown.
Thank you very much. Tail of the tape right here. Oh, look at that. The combined age of 80. Have some fun with that later on. MVP awards, 5. Again, you cannot, I mean, that number on the left is absurd. It is just something we will never see again. And same with the number underneath it. Kurt Warner is in the atrium of Lambeau Field because he's calling the game on NFL partner Westwood One later on today. As you can see, we've got Hall of Famers galore, not just on our panel, but later on, Jim Kelly and Thurman Thomas and Andre Reed, and then later on, Tom Brady going one-on-one with his buddy Willie McGinnis. Emmitt Smith is going to join Kurt and Michael and Hall of Famers only, which I guess this topic bar is Hall of Famers only or future Hall of Famers only, Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers. Steve, it is kind of ridiculous to say that Tom Brady could use more burnishing of his legacy with the Super Bowl win, but this is a unique set of circumstances. Year 21, age 43, new team, 10th Super Bowl appearance. A lot of round numbers, a lot of firsts out there, and Aaron Rodgers could match Brady with a Super Bowl win for the longest drought between Super Bowl wins in 9 years. Steve, which one do you think requires the win to help their legacy more?
Wow. You know, we talked about it earlier about Tom Brady winning another Super Bowl with a different team in a short year, and that's unbelievable. But let me talk about Aaron Rodgers, okay, and his legacy. Having grown up a Packer fan and coaching at Green Bay, what a unique place. And there have been 3 great quarterbacks there, and they are evaluated and loved by their fans. And Bart Starr, who won the first 2 Super Bowls as the MVP, he's in a class by himself. He's on a pedestal. We all know that. But lately, the last 30 years, it's been 2 guys. It's been Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers. And trust me, there is competition, and they're friends right now, okay? They're friends, all right? But there is competition amongst the 2. You know, who has the most wins, the most MVPs, the biggest record, the most touchdown passes, and yes, the most Super Bowl wins. Locally in Packerland, in Titletown, there's a debate about who is greater, Aaron Rodgers or Brett Favre, and Brett's won 1 and lost 1. So if Aaron Rodgers can win his second one, is that bragging rights over there in Green Bay or not? We'll wait and see.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Well, and Coach, you know, there's going to be that competition in Green Bay, in this place, so much history here in Lambeau Field. But I think this is even bigger than just him and Favre and the Green Bay legacy. This is talking about one of the greatest to ever play the game. And, you know, we're going to talk about him because he's so talented in Aaron Rodgers and what he brought from a physical standpoint. But I can't imagine if his career is over and we're saying this guy, as great as he was, played in 1 Super Bowl. It just doesn't seem right because he's played so well for so long, going to have multiple MVPs, think he's going to win his 3rd this year. So I'm going to say Rodgers as well. But before I hand it off to Irv, I mean, it's amazing. When I was growing up, I remember thinking to myself as a quarterback, hey, I want to play in 5 Super Bowls. Because at the time, no quarterbacks had played in 5 Super Bowls. I know John Elway has now, but Tom Brady has a chance to double that. Double what my dream was growing up, to play in 10 Super Bowls. I mean, Irv, that is just incredible if that happens.
It's insane in this time where we get so caught up in the physical gifts of people and of quarterbacks. I mean, there's a lot in this conversation. There's a lot in this conversation because we give quarterbacks so much. And it's so weird. We talk about how important it is to have a quarterback and to have a great quarterback if you want to win a Super Bowl. And when we have guys like Aaron Rodgers and they only win one Super Bowl, I mean, that just says a great deal about maybe we need to rethink all we talking about all the time. But for Aaron Rodgers and his legacy, to get another Super Bowl would be huge because of his physical ability. We say he's the greatest quarterback we've ever seen physically. But Tom Brady, what he's doing, and now to even do this, to go over to another place and raise them up and take them to a Super Bowl after you've done it in New England in your first year, that's insane. That is absolutely insane. And we know how hard it is to win a Super Bowl. We talk about all the great quarterbacks that have never done it. We just had one retire, Phillip Rivers. For this man to go to another place and do it in his first year would be just, that would be insane.
Well, I think if you want to talk about what Brady's legacy is, Brady's legacy, I think, is the phrase, I guess, that too much is not enough, that there's no such thing as never enough. And doing this would, I think, burnish that legacy. But I think what he's already done has already placed him in that category. Even getting to this point, which I'm sure is not satisfying to him. Rodgers, it would be a totally different ball of wax. It's just everything you said locally there in Cheesehead Nation, Steve, and then writ large, the fact that he could win his second, get to his second, win his second, would be such a difference maker for Aaron Rodgers. As Breeze is about to join NBC Sports, as we all expect, with just one Super Bowl. And Rodgers, if he could get to a Super Bowl this time around and then win it, that would be a different story for him. Arrowhead Stadium, still to come here on NFL Game Day morning. More from the AFC Championship game. Ian Rappaport, though, let's see what you've got to say right now. Ian?
Rich, the good news is Patrick Mahomes has cleared the NFL's concussion protocol, did so on Friday, and it sounded like he had a pretty good week of practice as far as the concussion protocol was concerned. He took most, if not all, of the reps despite being listed as limited. That is a good sign. He had no symptoms, really no issues at all. He is cleared. He is going to play today. However, I am also told that Patrick Mahomes was diagnosed with turf toe on his left foot. You saw him hobbling around during last week's game. Clearly was not 100%. This, from what I understand, affected him much more than being in the concussion protocol. Obviously something to watch today because he is not going to be at full strength. Rich, as far as after the season, I am told the thought right now is he does not need surgery, but he is going to meet with a specialist whenever the season ends to determine that fully.
Wow, a specialist to talk about surgery, Kurt. That's not like just something you could go day to day, you know what I'm saying? So the number of people that have been texting me all week or calling my show saying, what type of Mahomes are we going to see now that we know he's going to be out there to be seen? I'll ask you that question. What do you think?
Well, Rich, it's a tough one because obviously they need him on the football field. And obviously they like to do different things with him, get him out on the edge. They ran an option with him down in the red zone last week. And so coming off the concussion, do you play the same way that you've always played? And now we always say that when you step on the field, you can't think about an injury. You can't think about what's happened in the past. You've got to play in the moment. But we just understand how important he is to this team. Will he be patient? Will he relax and let the game come to him? Or is it just, hey, I'm going to let everything go. I'm not going to worry about what's happened in the past, and I am going to play football the way I play as Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs are going to need that, but that concussion's always going to be in the back of his mind.
Yeah, you know, and he's a dual-threat quarterback. He's going to run around. Kurt, you mentioned it. He ran speed option. I used to run speed option. Boom. All right. On the goal line for a touchdown. And then when he ran it again later on in that game, you know what? That's when he got hurt. Right here is speed option. He didn't pitch it. And right here. And so I'm just wondering, you know, I coached Steve Young. All right. And he had a concussion. My first game I ever coached him against Tampa. Sap. All right. Well,
Sap, God.
After that, guys, I took quarterback sneak out of the game plan.
Right.
I took quarterback draw out of the game plan. I was concerned about, you know, his health, all right? So you protect him as a play caller, and you eliminate some of those speed options and everything else like that. So Patrick has to protect himself. The play callers have to protect him. Now, they're going to say, oh, Steve Young was 37 years old, and Patrick's only 25, so if he's cleared, he's playing like he plays. And there's going to be some of that thought, too. But from a concerned coach, I would protect him a little bit and be careful.
I thought this was interesting when we discussed this because that's how it went. You know, you thought about it from a coach's standpoint. I thought about it from a receiver standpoint. Like, my guy's good. He's good. He's going. You know what I mean? He's going to be fine. We're going to be fine. We're going to, and I would be telling my linemen, listen, man, we got to protect him. We have to protect him. I wouldn't even care about running those options. Take it out of the game plan.
Exactly.
Just as long as let him throw me the ball. Let's just let him throw me the football. Take all of that stuff out. We don't have to do that, buddy. We don't have to do it. Is what I'll be saying. Let's just make sure we protect him.
Kurt?
And Irv, it'll be interesting because I think back to last year against the Titans. You remember when Patrick Mahomes runs down the sideline, he could have easily went out of bounds, and he turned it up and he scores a touchdown.
Right.
Earlier in week 6, he had one of those plays on 3rd down where he's running to the sideline, he spins and he goes between two defenders and sets them up for a 4th and 1 that leads to a touchdown. So it's things like that you wonder this time around, oh, I get close to the sideline, now I got to step out of bounds instead of making one of those special Patrick Mahomes type plays.
And how about, well, I mean, we talk about how diverse this offense is, right? The playbook has